Oh my god. Hey Legion, how you all doing today? I love Tubi TV has so many great bizarre shows on there, regular shows on there. I saw TMZ has some about the real Hulk Hogan, they did like a flop after he passed away. And I saw they have some called The War of OnlyFans. I gotta watch that too. Um AJB's bicycle. Hey, how you doing, Mr. Bicycle? uh oh shit, now I got lost. He passed away a few months ago, age 71. Now I grew up watching wrestling. And I will say one thing that they said that Hulk Hogan was like the very first one to transcend wrestling and other forms of entertainment. I don't think I have to argue with that because I think Andre the Giant was. Yeah, you understand. Yeah, exactly. And that's right. Yep. And Phil Struck. I will say, Andre the Giant was the very first one because I didn't never. I never saw wrestling. I knew of wrestling, but I never saw it till like it was in second grade, maybe. There was some show that was like on Saturday afternoons, like an hour-long show. I don't know if it was WWF or when before Vince McMahon took over. Because like around fifth, sixth grade, he had his own show that was like a more polished, syndicated show. I mean, like for an hour a week, And there was something like a low budget show that was on. And the one thing, even before that, I knew of Andre the Giant. I remember like I loving the show $6 Million Man. And some of my best episodes, my favorite episodes was the Flip Wilson one, The Devil Made Me Do It, right? That's a classic. And then whenever he fought Sasquatch. And now Sasquatch is played by Andre the Giant. Brilliant. So I will say I seen him in I'm picking him like pick up Susan Anton. I mean he was not like overly hyped, but he was established because how incredibly huge he was. The eighth one of the world, Andre the Giant. And I will say he was the first one to transcend wrestling. And then that comes into play later on in Hulk Hogan's career. Now, as far as Hulk Hogan's concerned, I remember seeing Rocky 3 at the theater. I've only saw it once. Now, I see it's on Internet Archive, so I want to watch it again. I want to watch that again. I want to watch the first Rocky, the second Rocky, and the third Rocky. Watch those again because those are the ones I really have to watch again. And I have a history of those. I mean, I think I only saw half of Rocky 2 anyways, And Rocky 3, I've never seen it at the theater. And of course, Mom didn't go see it. I ain't watching that. I said, whatever. Because I was a big Mr. T fan because they had a show with Brian Gumble did called Games People Play. Oh, that number thing? Yeah. He took it down, though. Well, he took it down, though. I mean, well, yeah. He took it down. But I mean, that's on him. I mean, I'm not in that camp. Let Jeff worry about him. I'm not in any of that bullshit. I'm not involved with politics, anything like that. We're a nation divided, but that doesn't mean I have to talk about politics at all. I mean, I talk about inflation, how much stuff costs. I bitch about that. That's about it. You know, um, I might report something that happened. Maybe. Um, anyway, the Hulk Hogan, uh, he was Rocky 3. He came out of Thunder Lips. And he was working for Vince McMahon's dad, Vince McMahon Sr., right? And then he fired him because he was on the show, and then he became Thunder Lips. And years and years later, I didn't know that was Hulk Hogan because I didn't know how Hogan was at the time. Just like I remember seeing Corvette Summer a long time because that Mark Hamill was Luke Skywalker. I didn't see Star Wars till like 4 years later. And that was the movie he made around that time. just like Harrison Ford did the Frisco Kid with Gene Wilder. And I remember seeing it after I watched it again. I was like, Annie Potts was, oh, Annie Potts was designing women. That's awesome. I know she was in it. I didn't know how. Yeah, okay. I didn't know anything about the whole thing with, oh, like, let me get confused now. I didn't know who he was at the time. That's Hulk Hogan. That's cool. And there was a show that was on Tubi TV. I guess it's on Fox. Like I said, they got something about the war against OnlyFans. I gotta watch that. I never heard about that until Aaron started saying she was gonna do that show. She's like, she ain't gonna make shit on that show. And it's definitely something to look into, but I'm not gonna do it. That'd be more fodder for me, you know. Um, and they talk about Hulk's rise to fame, and like he was the first one that really. After that, he was the first one to really get like in '84. They did a whole rock and roll connection where they really hyped him up to about the greatest heights of ever because he teamed up with like oh like oh what's the name Cyndi Lauper and whoever else and that one yeah hey hi how you doing hi this guy how are you and it was really an interesting show. I thought it was really good. I went on for like 45 minutes. Basically, just it's so stuff I already knew about Hulk Hogan. Mark Henry was on there. He said, like, not one kid didn't watch Hulk Hogan's Rock and Wrestling. I watched it kind of, I actually read an episode when I was in Germany. We watched it, like, we were groaning over the wrestling because it was really bad. I mean, I bought a half hour tape for my nephew, but the half hour tape didn't have, like, the wrestling segment, it just had the cartoons. The cartoons are the part that sucked. They had like live action wrestling, things. That was the good part. Part where he was going to be on motorcycle. Everyone came and they almost knocked him off the motorcycle. And the whole crowd came and threw on to Hulk Hogan. But I remember those shows. I remember, he went to do the whole thing. Had Zeus. That was Titty Lister on WWE. I remember that they had no holds barred. I wanted to see it in the theater. I wanted to see it so bad. I had to work that night. I was so mad. I wanted to see it so bad. Are you okay? I'm okay. Oh, we're okay. We're okay. I'm sure we're doing fine against them. Um, and what else was there? I'm getting all confused now. But they talk about the basic rights of fame. They talk about his sex tape where he said a couple of like things that were, I guess, racist and that killed his career for a long time. And then when he passed away, people bring that up too. When he said like, I don't know when he said it, like God, like 10 years ago or something like that. I think that the reality shows what hurt, his family and stuff like that. They put him in a negative spotlight. Whenever Nick had that car accident, it killed his best friend, and then like Brooke tried to make it big, and then like I don't know, she looked really bad in that interview. I guess she didn't go to her dad's funeral, right? I mean, she didn't go to her dad's funeral at all. And she looked horrible. And then they talked about like, I remember the part like, I mean, I haven't been watching it on Netflix at all. They talk about him going out there and then booing him too. And then he said like, and then this man said he was angry about that because he said he would have done it differently because he's not in charge of that anymore. He would have handled the whole thing differently. But I mean, instead of just coming out against with Jimmy Hart waving the American flag. And they talk about his movies and stuff because like because of his movies and stuff that helped a lot of other wrestlers like The Rock and stuff. Um, become movie stars. I mean, The Rock. I mean, he did like that. I think he did Silent Live first, and then he did the Mummy. He might have done the Mummy's Return. Then he did The Rock. I mean, he was on Silent Live, and then he was asked to do being the Scorpion King, which is a really fun movie. Though, he was barely in the Mummy Returns, though. He was just CGI, though. But he was over there for 2 weeks, and then like he was still doing stuff for WWE, and then he went back and forth. I remember Hulk Hogan's movies. Like I said, I remember seeing Rocky 3 in the theater, but I never knew that was Hulk Hogan back in the day. Um, and I remember the only movie I saw his in the theater aside from it was Submarine Commando. I really wanted to see No Holds Barred, but I had to work that night, so that sucked. We worked swing shift, and we worked like we were shift workers, and you get thrown on either work like daytime. Daytime was the best time to work because you were out with training and stuff during daytime, and then mid shift would be like I don't know 4 to 12, and then mid shift was like 12 to 6, 12 to 8. Well, I remember hey we had to I had to work, so I mean I missed a lot of these movies. I missed that one. I remember renting it like 3 or 4 months later. I'm loving the movie. I love the movie. I remember seeing like when Submarine Commando came out. I saw it opening day, right? I then there was like only 4 people in the theater with me, 4 or 5 people in the theater with me. But I love that movie. It had Christopher Lloyd and Shelley Long in it, along with the awesome Larry Miller. He was amazing, funny guy, good bad guy too. I liked the movie. I thought it was fun. And as far as like the specials concerned, it goes over a bunch of stuff that I knew. And I guess when we said those comments, Mark Henry said, "Hey, I have a way that you can get away with, you make all this make all this right." And he said, "You go to a bunch of like black universities and say you're sorry, and you shake hands and stuff like that." And then Hulk Hogan said, like, well, "I was advised not to do that." And he said, "Well, okay, but I mean, you're giving wrong bad advice." And he was disappointed Hulk Hogan. He still thinks he's important in there. I mean, I don't think anyone hates him or not like that. They shocked about his political stance, which surprised me. I mean, I don't really care. I mean, I don't get into politics anyways. But the show was actually really entertaining. I grew up with Hulk Hogan. I never really watched. Well, I mean, I never watched WCW that much, so I didn't know that much about the NWO. I mean, it was cool with the way he did his beard and stuff. I did watch Thunder in Paradise, though. That was a cool show. But I'll never forget. I remember renting an old one. It was a TV movie, and there was a scene where they were throwing these guys. They throwing Hulk Hogan and his girlfriend chained up in the water, and then they throw a little girl that's chained up in the water too. It was like, what assholes! Don't do that for a TV show on cable. And there was some voodoo thing that went really gory. It's like, oh my god, they showed that. You know? Okay, okay. We can't say that. We can't say that. We gotta stop. We can't say that. We can't say that. No, I'm not gonna have that. Phil might hate my guts, but I'm not gonna have him say that. I know the clip and stuff. I know I heard it too, but I can't have people saying that on my live. Uh I let it go for a while, but it's getting me too much. Especially that one part right there. I can't have it. So I guess that's it for the review. I want to watch that the thing about OnlyFans. That sounds interesting. I'll come back for that maybe. I don't know. But I give the Hulk Hogan special I give it like a 9 out of 10. I think Brooke Hogan looks like hell. You know? I never really thought she was that pretty either. I thought his wife was prettier, but his wife turned out to be a real bitch. She's like he said, you're gonna go back and work and keep me in this luxury and stuff. You know? I thought she was more attractive than his daughter, you know. That's my opinion. So I hope you like this video. I give it like a 9 out of 10. It told me a bunch of stuff I already knew. But I had interviews with Sylvester Stallone, which I thought was really cool. I like that. But I didn't know he'd walk around with a cane or crutches. I had no idea about that. I know whenever, like, the thing about Andre the Giant, I said he transcended wrestling first. That's why the WrestleMania 3 moment when he slams Andre the Giant was so important, because it was a passing of the torch. Andre was undefeated for the most part. And, that was probably the most important part of all, in wrestling history. So like I said, I give the show about a 9 out of 10 for TMZ presents the Real Hulk Hogan. I got to check out that thing about OnlyFans. That looks really interesting. So I hope you like this video, buddy. This review and video. I hope you like video and review, everybody. Until next time, please take care, my legions. I want to end this early, so I got a couple more minutes left on my account. All right, take care, and take care, my legions.